Okay, with filmmaker Rachel Nemez, it's an animation film, Pippi and the Typist, 5 minutes. This was done at the Maryland Institute of College of Arts, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Was this kind of your final film, your kind of thesis film?
Yeah, this is our thesis film. We had just the whole 2 semesters to work on it, so I chose to make what I made. It's 3D and like stop motion and 2D in combo, and that's basically I just want to like exhibit what I did learn, which makes sense, obviously. So that was like my goal, I guess, like throughout making it. I just wanted to make sure like I was like exhibiting everything.
So basically you just the reference it's 3D, 2D and like hand drawing or what are all the functions, the animation functions?
Well, I built a set, which I really like to build. Is what I like. I remember on the first day, I was like, I really want to build something. That was like the one thing I knew, like going in, that I wanted to do. And I had a puppet from last semester that I really didn't use, I think, the way that I wanted to use it. So I ended up just putting it in there. And I also knew that I didn't want to do it like only just having a puppet because it can be kind of, I think the idea of just animating up like a stop motion puppet for the whole semester just made me kind of feel crazy. So I also wanted the 2D anime because I like 2D animation, and I think that I just prefer it in some ways, but I also find joy in the stop motion aspect. So I wanted to do a little bit of everything because I think that would bring me joy. Like and
It also showcases your talent too, right? So that you're diverse.
yeah, I try to like I wanted to do everything that I could do, I think. Well, also it was like I think there was like points in the process where I was like kind of deciding what I wanted to do, where I was like, um, this is advice I also like I gave to like the underclassmen who are going to do thesis next year. I was like, if you like if for whatever reason like you're feeling like even like a slight bit of like a lag and like your enjoyment and what you're doing, just change it. Like just change it. Like not like entirely obviously, but like if there's like something that you think that will make this process like slightly more enjoyable, like you should go about doing it in that way. Like for me, I think that was just having a 2D character in a 3D set because I wanted the build, but I didn't want to have the puppet in there. I say puppet also. I'm in reference to like a stop motion
Yeah.
like doll. Like yeah,
Yeah.
like that's what yeah. But yeah,
No,
no, that's oh what?
I was gonna
Sorry.
say that it's really cool because it's like when you like halfway into this film, like 2 minutes into the film, you're seeing the typist, the character is a typist, and it's a different vibe, it's a different tone than what we've seen in the film so far, but it works and we're just kind of like emotionally engaged as an audience of like, oh, they're really kind of like doing different things and then they're going back into like yeah like you're just like you're able to be busy with animation but not complicate the story if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that's definitely what was happening. I wanted to like have like different, I think um like layers to it. I think I okay, and then like hindsight, it's like funny because I think that like I wasn't really thinking too hard about like the materiality of like the characters, if that makes sense. Like um because like there is like an element of like the mouse like kind of controlling everyone else, and the fact that they are 3D, it kind of like makes it kind of like okay, he's probably a little bit more real than the rest of them. Like I think like I don't think I was like thinking about it too hard, but I think in hindsight I kind of just like added to the story like a little bit more than I think I was like really intending to it because that was like the one thing that one of my friends was like saying when they were like reviewing it, like they were like watching, we had like final crits basically, and they're just kind of everyone was just kind of just talk at you and be like, this is what I think, this is what, and it's like some of it's just like utter like you didn't need to say that. Like
Yeah.
other times it's actually like it's helpful feedback, or it's just like some like take that you didn't really think about because I was saying like my friends and I it's funny because I think with like this like a process we've all done, like I think that there is like a level of like intuition I think that comes in with like animating and like filmmaking as a whole, I would say. Like I think there's like a point where you're like you can plan and and have like intent behind what you're doing, but I do think that there is like a level of like your brain is on autopilot in a way that and it's like you reflect back on and you're like, oh like yeah, my subconscious like knew what was going on as well. Like kind of I think while you're making something. Um, and it's just funny to kind of have that like solidified and like cleared up and like put into words like once everything is done, I think.
That's a really insightful comment you made because it's so true in so many regards. But that said, when you're doing animation, it's such a grind, it's such a meticulous process. You generally don't think that with animation because you just have to prepare everything so much, and like every frame takes like a day or so, whatever it takes. So you don't have that instinctual vibe. But I guess well, one would assume, but I guess you're saying that you do, even when you're animating.
Well, I think you do. I think people are different. Also, I think like in the day to day, it gets really like I think crazy because I think you're just like you're sitting there and you're like at your desk and you're just like I don't know what I'm doing, but because it's like a shot like okay for point of reference I don't know if this is like me like telling you something you already know, but um like I think a shot okay an average like amount of if I have like a whole like 9 to 5 like day like
Yeah.
available to me, I can get like 7 seconds of animation done.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's like kind of that's like the energy. And sometimes you don't even end up using a shot because like I feel like I had many days where I was like kind of animating and then it became kind of like I started just kind of going and then I was like this makes no sense. Like, I don't know why I've even bothered wasting my time doing this. And it's kind of like you sit there and you're like, what am I doing? And then like your friends will kind of like at least in our studio, like it was me and my like two like studio mates and like one of them's actually my roommate right now. That's how well we got along. But uh it was just kind of like one of those things where like you kind of like would like you would do something and you'd either be proud of it or unsure or like I don't really know I just did this and I don't really know why I did because it's not even on the storyboards like
Yeah.
and like you go to them and they're like, okay, like you're jumping the shark a little bit, or it's like, or it's like I think of like, no, you can put it in. I think you said to like hold on to it because I think there are things where it's like you kind of have a gag that you do want to put in, not even a gag, just like a thing, and it's like you just have to you have to find a home for it. You have to find a little home for it in your film, and that can be hard sometimes, but also sometimes it's like it just makes sense. But I think that there are days where like you can find yourself like being crazy. And I think that you can just like, you're just like, I don't know why I made this. I don't know why I put this little shot. Because there were things that I really wanted to put into my film that were like just made no sense at all. And I had to have like a talking to from my friends being like, Rachel, just don't do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you want to serve the story, right? So like everything, every frame's got to be about the story.
yeah. Like, yeah, everything does have to be about this story. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it doesn't have to be. Sometimes you're just having fun. Sometimes you just say, I want to put that there. It's like, why? I don't know. You can't tell me what to do. I can do whatever I want. I guess like how it feels. Um, like I remember
Well, if you're gonna, if that statement, if you're gonna do, if it's your thesis film, yeah, you could do whatever you want. When you're doing your own work, of course, yeah. Well, when someone's hiring you to do animation, that's a different story, I guess, right? So
no, 1000%. Yeah, yeah. No, that's definitely true. I think I also just think that like at the time, like I just it was like a definitely like an outlet. I think because I
yeah,
was like I think like I was just kind of like I needed like a space because like I think like the only thing that was like 1000% like predictable was like I'm going to the studio and I'm going to make my thesis. Like I'm
yeah.
going to so it was very much so just like okay,
And
like
there's a
here's the
deadline to get it done, so you have to. There's a timeline that you have to finish it. So
yeah.
yeah, which
Yeah.
sometimes is a good. Well, a lot of times it's a good thing, right? Because you're gonna get it finished. So
Yeah, no, timeline is definitely it was helpful. And we didn't listen to our professors at all was the thing. They were like, okay, you need to have this done by then. And we're like, that's way too early, or like that's way too late. And then we just like wouldn't listen, but they were right, is the thing. Like I think that um no, having a deadline was definitely like a it was really nice to like look forward to
speaking
in a way.
of the story, where did the story come from for you? It's almost like a God kind of sense where like someone's predetermining what other people are going to do with a typewriter, right?
Yeah, I think it's like it's funny. Like my one friend was like, that's what they like. When he was like saying how like he was like, oh, I thought it was a story about God, to be honest. And I'm like, I wasn't thinking about that at all. There was like a few things. I think, I had like a phase with like mice. I think when I was like in during college, like as a concept, I think because in my head, because okay, for additive context, I had a pet hamster that went missing in my apartment like when I was like a sophomore in college. And then it's like it was like a joke that like, oh, like Chi-Chi's like king of the rats now. Like he's just like literally king of the rats. And in my head, I'm like, oh, they're like running the city like underground. Like I feel like they're just like doing everything.
Did
And
you
then I
find
became
it?
no.
Oh,
Like the hamster is gone, like RIP, like that. I live by that hamster,
took
but
off.
um
It took
wait,
off
what?
like an animation, like a Pixar movie. Just like it's doing its own, like you said, it's doing its own like thing.
Yeah, literally its own journey. Like I don't know where he went like at all in a crazy way, but I don't know. But like I think there was like a thing in me that was like, no, like Chi-Chi's literally like running the city underneath us and we don't even know it. Like is that hamster was like really smart. We always thought he was like a really smart hamster for whatever reason. I don't even know what that means in hindsight. But like um I think that was like a thing that I was thinking about a lot. I'm like, no, but they're like I think that they're running. I think that the city rodents are just running everything. I'm in Baltimore also for context. Like it's just like I don't know. It was just something I was thinking about, and also I think just to make me feel better about the fact that like Chi-Chi's like that hamster is doing okay. But I think that's what made me want to have that like that mouse be like kind of viewed as like a god-ish figure in a way. And then the other little things that were going on, I don't know. Those were just kind of like I just like felt like making them do what they were doing. It was very much so like in the moment, I think. Like I don't know. I just remember I storyboarded like the whole thing in like one day, like I think in the middle of September, and I was like, okay, this is just what's happening now. Like I'm like they're just doing this.
Yeah.
But
So where
yeah,
are you born and raised in Baltimore?
no. I'm not. I was raised in like outside Philadelphia, like I like kind of suburbia, but I don't know. The more I tell people I say it's suburbia, I feel like it's like not suburbia. It feels like more like countryville, honestly. Like the more I like talk about it to people. Um, yeah, no, I grew up in pretty like farmsy Pennsylvania. That was my
Farmington,
upbringing.
Pennsylvania. Well, there's a lot of that in Pennsylvania. And then so
Yeah,
then now you're living in Maryland. Maybe now you're living in Baltimore.
yeah, I'm in Baltimore now. It's a good city. I enjoy it here. Are you guys are in Chicago? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I live in Toronto. I'm in Toronto right now. So
Oh,
yeah,
Toronto.
yeah.
Okay.
But I've been to Baltimore a few times. I enjoyed it. So
Yeah, it's a good city. I enjoy it here. It's a good, yeah, it's a good city. I'm used to Phillies, and this is kind of like a smaller Philly in my mind, so
yeah.
it's like more like easy to like comprehend. Like I don't know. Yeah, but
What's next for you? What are you? So you graduated. You got your thesis films going in the festivals. I'm assuming it's doing well. What's next for you?
right now it's a lot. I mean, I don't know. I'm in my early 20s. I think like anything can happen. Like it's like my like brain right now. I've been applying to a lot of festivals and like I'm just kind of waiting to hear back. I'm kind of in this waiting phase right now, to be honest. I do want to start a new project though, because I think that like I'm kind of done like taking a break from animating, I think. Because I think it got like really all consuming and like it kind of gets in your face in a way, and I needed to step away. And that was the thing, because I was using like so many computer programs that I was like, I need to just draw the pencil and paper again, and I did, and I was like, this is refreshing. I don't know, people say refreshing, I think it's funny, but I like it just felt like really nice to just be like, I'm like, oh right, like everything, like it's just like you only need a pencil and paper actually, like you don't need to have like a whole like
Yeah.
digital everything like
Well, in your blog interview, you talk about like you never thought you'd be a filmmaker, but then you just want to make cartoons because you
yeah.
enjoyed that as your kid. It's almost like that's your gateway in a sense to creativity. It seems like this is what you want to do, right? Like you want to work in cartoons or you want to work in animation.
Yeah, I mean, like I would work in honestly, I don't know. It's like funny because at this point, like I do like video editing a lot, is what I've realized. I do I do like making like that's for making a short film was really awesome. I would love to do that again. I don't. It's like yes, in a perfect world, yes, I would like to work in animation and cartoons. It's just a very hard industry to crack into, I feel like, and I'm still trying to find my like weasel my way in there. Um, I think it'll take a minute, but I think I am persistent and stubborn, so I think I'll figure out a way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's who I am, I think. But yeah, no, yeah, that's my
Well, like I
truth.
said to you, it's like I've seen animations before where like it tries to be busy and it kind of complicates the element of the story, but yours is works and it's funny too. Like there's funny moments. especially when this little, how would you describe the your main character, Pippi, like a little ball of energy, like a little, just like a little cute ball, right? And so you think that the context is a cuteness, and then it kind of just throws the typist off its perch, and like I don't know what it did. Did it punch him out, or
I
did it?
think he's just like angry. I think, well, because in my head, I'm like the way I look back on everything, I think he's upset with the typist because I think there's like a thing of like this has happened before. Like, because I like in my mind, because I didn't know how to start the film for a very long time. That was
Yeah,
actually like really hard because it starts with him crawling out that window, like, and
yeah.
then and he ends back in the same like part. And in my head, I'm like, I think he crawls out every once in a while and does this. Like, I think this is like routine in my head. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this happens a lot. Um, but he ends up like going back into like his little like hole and like it's just like there. And I don't know if like the cupcake thing is like something that happens every single time. Like, it might be different. Like, I don't know. Cause I don't know. That's something I was thinking about. I just think it's like cyclical. It's very like in a cycle in my
Yeah.
mind. Um, but
It's someone who wants to control their own destiny in a sense, or
yeah.
yeah,
I think there's like a thing of like they want to control their own destiny, but when it comes down to it, it's like you just want to feel comfortable. Like, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
then it's just like that's just what it is. Which I think is like reflective of like I think a lot of like people and like myself too. Like I would say. And um I think that yeah, no, I think it's just reflective, I think, of like myself in that way. Because I think there are moments where I'm like I do want to be like I want to be able to not be a part of something that's like bigger than myself in a way, but then this is kind of like at the end of the day like you are like this is how the world works like a little
yeah.
bit. um but it was like funny though because I do think that like everyone just kind of like projects like a lot into like what their thesis were, like also like I'm sure in film as a whole, like, I'm sure you've seen that before, like it's just like you meet a person, then you meet the thing they make and you're just like, oh, like that makes sense. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, of course. That happens all the time, right? So because you're great, yeah, it's just the natural elements. Like someone's ideology, someone's point of view in life, someone's upbringing, whatever, like it's reflected in their work, right? So for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So what did you
Um,
think about, you're talking about the comments from, what did you think about our comments from the festival video that we sent you?
I was so nervous. I don't know. I was nervous to like seeing what people thought out of sight of like the people that have literally just been telling me what I want to hear for the past 7 months. I was like a little bit, I was like a little bit like antsy about it. But I mean, I'm glad you guys like liked it. But also, I think the thing that I was thinking about when I was like watching was, I mean, I said this in the post, but basically I think the thing I was thinking about, I was like, oh, I wonder if like they'll have like a different take on it that I just didn't like have. And like there's like and like someone did in there. I don't know everyone's names, obviously. I'm sorry, but like someone had like a take on it that I thought was interesting. In terms of like I think like loneliness or like wine like someone said the phrase like Pippi yearns, and that made me laugh really hard. I don't know, because I just think it's like a funny like it's just a funny like I don't know comment in my mind. But yeah, I mean it was just like a mix between what I like assumed it would be because I think that there was like a lot of like comments on the visual aspects of it because it is very in your face like kind of like texture like overlay like whatever green screen I don't know. So I think that was like something I was expecting. It's kind of hard to like ignore that, I think, for a little bit, and then you're kind of like you're like settled into the space, and then you're like, okay, like this is how it looks like. Um, but yeah, I was definitely like a mixed pot. I did enjoy the like people get like philosophical with it, I think, and I enjoyed those comments. I thought they were really interesting because it's just always nice to hear it. But I don't know. It was nice to get it when I got it. I had COVID at the time, so I was just kind of like I was like at home and I was like no. I was just like feeling sick and it was just like a nice like kind of pick me up a little
Yeah.
bit. So it was just nice to like hear people's like thoughts on everything, I think.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's a great film, and I'm sure that you're going to keep animating. Like you said, I think it's in you, so I think you're going to have to keep drawing, and there's nothing wrong with taking a break, but like just make sure you keep making films like this, and keep going because I think you're onto something.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. No, I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hope I still make things. I have moments where I get like nervous I'm gonna like crash a little bit, but I think that I am not. Like I just refuse to, I think right now. Um,
Like crash out.
well, I think it's just like you get burnt out a little bit, and also like I think with just like in between, I think it's hard to be creative in the way of like, well, okay, like in college, it's like you're given all these resources and all this time and all this like
Yeah.
everything, and it's like as soon as I left, like we lost our Adobe Suite like account, which like sucks, but also I understand. But it's like one of those things where you're kind of like, oh, I like didn't realize how many resources I had until like I just don't have any of them like all at once, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also, it's like you learn like rules and like how to apply things. So it's kind of just like you have to be creative with like how you end up like animating. Like one of my friends like fully just used index cards and like a pencil and a scanner, and they made it like a beautiful thesis.
There you go.
Like you don't need much, is the truth. I just got really excited with After Effects, I think, in mine.
No,
But you
but
don't.
but even the systems right now, right? Like you can, it's it's like whatever, $30 a month or whatever, but it's like you get some pretty profound stuff on those editing suites, right? So
Yeah.
um and like you said, it's all about your creativity, right? So sometimes it's good to have not all the resources in your because it leads to more creativity, right? So
No, definitely. I agree. Well, I think I guess it makes it like things like less that's the thing. The thing I was thinking about is that I think I like get distracted in like the atmosphere of everything. I think unless like on the plot almost. Like I found myself making decisions like I just like shove in there like very last minute. Like I think um like the shark thing that was like not supposed to be there in a really crazy way. That was not supposed to be a thing. And but I just thought it was funny. Like I found this like low poly render like website,
yeah.
and I just was having a ball going through them because they were just like were all really funny in my head. And then I was just like, I like this shark like a little too much. I think I'm just gonna put it in my phone. I think it's just gonna go in there. Because
Well,
like I think it's just there.
on that note, just stay creative, and we hopefully we'll talk again when you make your next film. I appreciate you submitting to us.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This is really awesome. I've never been on a podcast before.
All right, let's talk soon
Like,
then.
okay, thank